Welcome to Howells Finest 16. I have a special guest this year. Her name is Elle, or Ellie Amoroso. Say hi. Hi. Yep, it's the 16th year. I happen to be champion, finally, and I've been working out, and I'm pretty busy, so we'll make this quick. Nothing's changing this year. Scoring's the same, structure, playoffs, payouts, what we're paying people for, all that stuff staying the same. Only thing I'm changing up is how I'm picking the draft order and the conferences. What we're going to do is, for the draft order, we're going to randomize numbers 1 through 12, and then we're going to randomize everyone's names, and then I'm going to FaceTime, and depending on what order your name comes in, I will FaceTime you, and you will pick a number, 1 through 12, and, you can choose the number 5, and that could correlate to pick 1 or pick 12, depending on how this random number generator works. I'll do like a screen recording for that, and I will be doing FaceTimes with you, and we will, I'll try and put all that together into one video. And for the conferences, it'll be the same thing, but it'll be a letter. So when I call you, you'll be like number 5 and B. And B may correlate to conference 1 or conference 2, so on and so forth. My name won't be on the generator. I'm just going to get whatever is the last number left and the last conference spot left. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to stop this recording, and I'm going to do I'll do a screen recording of random.org for the numbers and the names. And okay, sounds good. Chat soon. Okay, so, hey, say hi, El. Say hi. Hi. Hi, everybody. So, as you see from your random number generators, I, that Dan gets to choose first. So, I'm going to FaceTime him and see if he answers to get his pick. So, let's see how that goes. Okay, here we go. It's going well. Yep. FaceTime's not going to work. Had some hopes it might, but I was able to finally contact everybody and get them to pick a number and a letter, which is great. This section of the video, we're going to be going over conferences and who's in each conference. We have 2 conferences, 6 teams each. I think the first place of each conference gets a bye, and then whatever the playoff seeds the rest of the people, however it's currently set up. Before we get to the conference selection, I need to talk about this year's sponsor. In the past, the sponsor's been Coors Light, but based on all the views we've been getting each year on this for this video, our new sponsor is now Miller Lite.
Light beer.
More taste or less taste?
I don't care.
Kind of how your girlfriend doesn't care that you're borrowing her pants?
Called skinny jeans. Kind of in right now.
They're kind of not.
Man up and choose a light beer with more taste. Grab a triple hops brewed Miller Lite with that great Pilsner taste.
Hey! Score still 21-32?
Yeah, just like a jean size.
Why taste the Rockies when you could just have a Miller instead? Fun fact about the people, or you guys, and the letters you chose. 6 out of 12 of you chose the letter of your first name as your letter, which I thought was interesting. So, to get this over with quick, Division 1 will be made of Dan, Irvin, John, Thomas, JT, myself, Chris Barker, Jimmy Pilato / Todd Klusowitz, and Darren Valentine. Division 2 will be made up of Louis, Mike Puglisi, Peter Delpome, Zach Hayworth, last year's second place, first loser, Charlie, who gets like the top 3 pick every year but never does anything with it, and newcomer Glenn, who is a good friend of JT's. JT said it's easy money, but we should just bring him onto the league. Anyway, so that's what we did. Just a a quick update on Brian Deckut.
You all right?
Yes, I'm fine. Why? Don't it look all right?
You look like melted ice cream.
What do you think is coursing through my veins right now?
Cheese whiz?
Is he asleep?
No. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
It's now time for the draft order. Get excited. Before we begin, the sponsor for this part of the draft is Legos, the best toy for a child or an adult of any age. Legos. Build something. Okay. Now that we're done with our ad reads, we can finally get into the draft order. We're going to go through this in the order I called everybody, and we will have an order at the end of this. So, Dan was the first to call. I finally did contact him. He tried to auto draft the number, but unfortunately that didn't work. He actually had to say this one in person.
Do you need the most trusted battery in your wireless mouse? Maybe not.
No.
Maybe you could trust that during your fantasy draft, the computer won't auto draft a kicker in the 7th round. Maybe you could trust you won't be kept up at night because you auto drafted a kicker in the 7th round. Maybe you could trust that for the next 16 weeks, you won't think about auto drafting a kicker in the 7th round. Or you could just trust Duracell.
So Dan chose the number 8. The number 8, which if you want to check from the previous screen thing I did, that is pick number 10. So Dan has pick number 10, which means he'll have about, 5 minutes after the draft starts to get, or maybe not even, maybe like 2 minutes after the draft starts to get to his computer in time. Next, I called Chris Barker. Make this better so I can look at my audience. Next, I called Chris Barker.
Happened to Wentz and watch his legs and his body just.
Chris chose the number 10, which is the number 6th pick, which is kind of a shitty place to be, I think, especially with what's going on with Zeke, Melvin Gordon. Do you take him at 6? Is he going to play? Is he going to hold out? Oh, man, what are you going to do? That's super tough, My heart goes out to you, Chris. I mean, you suck anyway, but, this doesn't make life easier for you. But anyway, you've been a serial donator to this organization, so we wish you the best, and we really think your donation is going to, really help the winner out, like it does every year. Who else we got? Next we called Charlie.
Hey, Monroe, you ready? You sure, big boy? Here we go. Nice hit, cheese dick.
And Charlie, right on cue, picks number 3, which equals pick number 3. So once again, Charlie's in the top 3, but probably won't finish in the top 3 at the end of the year. Piss poor team management is what it comes down to, Charlie. You draft well, but then it's just, I think the fantasy, I think the blind auction hurts you big time. That and your lack of research. Next, I called John Thomas.
It's taken me a while to realize that I don't know everything.
What did John pick? John picked pick number 2. And John, pick number 5. I don't know if you want that this year. I don't know. You might want something a little later or a little earlier than that, but what are you going to do? John, pick 5. It's been pretty good the last few years. Fun fact, John...
I will roll with anybody.
His secret sauce when it comes to fantasy football is the podcast called the Late Round Podcast. If you want to search the Late Round Podcast, you'll have his secret sauce, as he calls it. So
that I don't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
I can learn a lot from these people, especially if they want to do something differently than the way I've been doing it. Maybe it's a better way, and maybe I should listen as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to being persistent that my way is the right way to do it, and this is how we're going to do it.
Good luck to everyone there. Next, I called Lou.
Hey, no one takes my wife's mouth except me.
Actually, I was able to FaceTime with Lou.
I have this tiny, little.
It was great to see him. It's been a few years since I've seen him. He's got a complete bod dad, dad bod, not bod dad, but he probably has one of those too. But he's got a very nice dad bod going on, and hopefully I can get there soon. Lou,
Where did they all come from? Oh, Pongo, you old rascal.
Lou picked number 7, which equals number 2. Pick 2. Pick 2 for Lou. There you go. Pick 2 for Lou. That's a good team name. You should think about it. Lou will have the second pick in the draft. Then we have Glenn.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Glenn is new to the league. Michael Mahan dropped out again because he's not very good. He only picks Steelers, and that strategy has not been working out very much. He wants to stick to family leagues that he can dominate because he's the only one that knows something about football in his family. That includes his brother-in-law, Chris Barker, who's also in this league, and his wife, Jenny Barker. So shout out to those people. Next, we have Mike Puglisi.
Dig in.
Over there at that creek, man, I found a couple of soaps on the arrowhead.
Mike Puglisi, I have not seen since he's had his child over a year ago. He's hidden himself from the world, doesn't go out in public much, but, he's still going and he's still playing in this league, so it's nice to know you're still going, Mike. Mike, once again, in case you don't know, his family runs the largest egg farm in Delaware and the second largest in New Jersey, based in Howell, New Jersey on Easy Street. So if you want the freshest eggs that money can buy and you live close to Easy Street in Howell, New Jersey, go to the Puglisi Egg Farm and buy some eggs. If not, go to your local ShopRite, and if you see P1881 on the ShopRite eggs, that's coming from the Puglisi Egg Farm as well. And I will say, they're good eggs. Speaking of which, next year they will be a sponsor of this video. There we go. Okay, moving on. I called Pete. So I got to talk about Glenn and Pug's picks, which I didn't do. Glenn picked number 11. That is pick 11. I kind of like that spot, and I'm angry that he got it. Moving on. Pug, like I said, Pug picked... Where the hell are you, Mike? Uh-oh. Mike, there you are. Mike picked 6, which equals 4. So you're just going to get what's left over after those first 3 picks. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, but at least it'll make your decision a little easier. All right, after Pugs, I picked Pete. Pete, I Don't Sleep Anymore, Del Poem. He picked number 5. Pete's going to be picking last, but he'll be picking first in the second round, and he will be the first one to have a complete team. But that's where the firsts end with Pete, because he's never won this league. Ever. And I can say that now, because I won last year. After Pete, we have Jimmy.
8.64.
So the salt must have been. Right,
Would have been about a 9. It was a
right.
little too salty for me, but 8.64 I'm going to go because of everything else. Yes.
/TK.
No, you suck my battle shots.
You know, I was a little worried about this because I couldn't call both of them at once, so I chose to call Jimmy because he seems like the real team manager. Todd just kind of is there somewhere, like looking over his shoulder and saying a one-liner, every once in a while. However, I called Jimmy up and I was worried, well, what if Jimmy picks a number and Todd's mad about the draft pick? But then Jimmy picked number 4, which equals the first pick in the draft this year. So Jimmy /TK have the first pick in the draft this year. I don't know if they're going to be happy about that, but apparently you got to make a big deal out of the first pick. So congratulations, Jimmy and Todd. Pick number 1 goes to you. 3 people left. Next after Jimmy, I called Darren, Chief Financial Officer Valentine. Ladies.
But let's imagine someone had to parent 87 children today, in the United States, for example. The Department of Agriculture states that the average estimated cost it takes to raise a child through the age of 17 is $233,610, or about $14,000 annually. Multiply that by 87, and it would cost you $20,324,000, or $1.2 million a year to raise 87 children.
Darren picked number 9, which equals pick lucky number 7, which at this rate is probably the amount of kids he's going to have when it's all said and done. Congrats on Meg being pregnant again, Darren. Number 4 is going to be a blast. And then after that, I called Zach Hayworth.
I would rather come in last than win the silver. If you think about it. You win the gold, you feel good. You win the bronze, you think, well, at least I got something. But you win that silver, that's like, congratulations, you almost won.
Gene, if you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase is trademark, not to be used as a tradition of Ricky Bobby.
I love winning, man. I fucking love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
First runner-up last year. First loser. He, of course, chose number 1 because that's what he wants to be, and he was almost that last year. But number 1, unfortunately, equals pick 9 this year, Zach, which is in a tough spot because that left me...
The champ is here! The champ is here!
With number 12, which equals pick number 8. So you're after me and before the auto draft Urban. Could be good, could be bad. We'll see. So to recap, Pick 1, Jimmy TK. Pick 2 for Lou. Pick 3 for Charlie. Pick 4 for Mike Eggman Puglisi. Pick 5 for Tap Cancer Out, John Thomas. Pick 6 for former Eagles fan, Chris Barker. Pick 7 for Darren, Chief Financial Officer, ladies. Valentine, at number 7. Pick 8 goes to your commissioner and current champion, me. Pick 9 goes to last year's second place, first runner-up, first loser, Zach Hayworth. Pick 10, 1-0, binary, auto, computers, auto draft, goes to Dan Irvin. Pick 11 goes to Glenn, 1-1, 2 N's in Glenn. I don't know. Pick 12 goes to Pete, the latest pick, because he's the last one to go to sleep at night. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your draft order for this year. I wish all of you the best of luck. I will see you all on Wednesday, August 28th, for the draft at yahoo.com. Again, wish everyone the best of luck. I hope it's a good year. Enjoy, have fun. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be sending out the welcome email shortly, which at this point you've already seen it because it tells you about this video that I just did. So, good luck.